It's 91.3 KPVU, Prairie View A&M University, the sound of excellence broadcasting live from Prairie View A&M. And my name is Mark Angel, keeping you company right here on KPVU. And I'm joined by the Dr. Timothy Sloan, who's the senior pastor of the Luke Church, proud alum of Morehouse College, a Morehouse man, and an advocate of HBCUs, and is also releasing some new music just in time to uplift some of the graduates that are coming out. And so I just want to thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Sloan.
Mark, thanks so much for having me on again. I appreciate you. And big shout out to PV and all the incredible graduates, man. Super excited for them and this big transition coming up. Great hard work. But PV, just a leading voice in HBCU education across this country. So grateful to be on with y'all.
And thank you. And you have had the HBCU experience, being an HBCU advocate. How has your experience at an HBCU helped shape you and your leadership and your ministry?
I say this often, and I really mean this. Everything I am is because of my HBCU experience, and I really don't know, in all seriousness, if I would be where I am had I not had the experience I had at an HBCU. I needed it coming from the background that I grew up in. But even if I had have been raised in a different context, the way in which my HBCU experience shaped me, shaped the way I think, shaped the way I interact, shaped the way I value people. I'm just incredibly grateful for it, and I encourage our young melanin skinned kids to go to HBCUs and experience it. There's nothing in the world like it.
Absolutely. And so you attended Morehouse. What did you study when you went to Morehouse?
So, most people think, he's a preacher. He must have been a religion major. No, I was a psych major. And I thought I was going to be a child psychologist. And then midway through, I said, no, I think I'm gonna need a little bit more financial security. Let's go the law route. And so I went the law route, but ultimately ended up, you know, pursuing where I was supposed to be, and that's in ministry.
And how long have you been the senior pastor at the Luke Church?
In 3 weeks, it'll be 24 years. Yeah, it seems like yesterday, but in 3 weeks, it'll be 24 years. I came to Houston in 1997, and here we are now, 31, is it almost 30 years later, and just incredibly grateful.
And now, how much music have you released since you've been there?
So this is the first album. This is
Okay.
going to be the first one. Our new album, Bridges for the Luke Church, is we've always wanted to do something musically, and now this season has come upon us, and so we're excited to be able to share it with the world.
So can we talk a little bit about Bridges? What inspired the title, the music? How did we get to Bridges?
Yeah, so Bridges is really it is the drumbeat of who we are congregationally. When you come to the Luke Church, you hear us always say that literally our mantra is we build bridges for future generations. We take the best of the traditional, connect it to the contemporary to create this emerging or evolving model because we believe that the church is constantly changing. So, we really try and marry generations, and that's what this album does. It literally is a bridge. It's a generational bridge of gospel music, contemporary music. And I think that, no matter where you fall in that spectrum generationally in the church, there will be something for you in this album.
The Dr. Timothy Sloan, who is the senior pastor of the Luke Church. Why now? Why now release a full album?
So let me be honest, the architect of this and really the visionary behind the actual album is a PV product, Dr. Chad Brawley. And
All right.
Dr. Chet Brawley, who's been with us now, oh man, well over a decade, he and I have journeyed together in ministries, our passive worship arts. This was his brainchild, and he came to me and said, "We want to, Pastor, I want to get the sound of the house out for the world to hear. I want the world to hear how we value and approach ministry. And so I said, well, I've learned to kind of let him go creatively. And so here we are, almost 5 years later, and I am so excited about what he's helped to create.
So you working with PVAMU Panther as well. So really some real HBCU excellence going on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We've got Olivia Mack, who's a Fisk alum. She's on the album as well.
Mhm.
I know we've got some TSU products
Mhm.
on there. So I mean it's HBCU just all the way through.
So you have a single that's also being released from the album Bridges. Winning.
So winning, product of Mike Dixon. Mike is the writer of that, and he wrote "Winning" as a part of just a song to kind of celebrate our vision for the year a couple years ago, which is Breakthrough. And Mike wrote the song, and they sung it on Watch Night. And I thought to myself, oh my God, this is not the night to try new music. And but little did I know it would literally become the theme song for our church. And that night it just took. I mean, it just took off. And if you haven't heard Winning, you gotta go get that ASAP. It really is a phenomenal piece.
I mean, when you say that Watch Night wasn't the night for new music, there must have been something about that song that really resonated. What do you think it was?
So it again, it really kind of helps to um amplify what this music is all about because I told you how this is kind of a marrying of generations. So I'm thinking Watch Night. Watch Night, typical Black church experience is more of a traditional experience. People are coming for what is sounds familiar to them. So in my thinking, I'm thinking, okay, let's stay committed to the Black church kind of theme on Watch Night, and maybe we'll sing a hymn or something. But he's going to try new music out. And I promise you, Mark, I'm sitting over in the corner as he's singing the song, and my eyes and expression just go from questionable to ecstatic. And you see the entire church just joining in with this song as he's teaching it, leading it, and it just took off. But it marries generations.
Yeah.
It really was something in it thematically and at its essence that captures people from every area in ministry.
What does winning mean to you?
So here's the refrain that Mike says in the song. But here's what it says: "You better get used to telling me congratulations, because I'm winning all year." That is a theme for HBCU grads. I want you to walk across that stage saying, you better get used to telling me congratulations because I embody Black excellence. I embody hope. I embody perseverance. And you better get used to seeing me walk across stages and win for the rest of my life.
Amazing, amazing. Dr.
Yeah,
Timothy Sloan talking about the new album Bridges, which is dropping on May the 3rd. That's Sunday.
that's Sunday.
How did you decide to drop it on that date?
So now I'm not going to give you some long answer on that. That was a part of our production team, and
Okay,
they decided that, and it just kind of fell on that date. So, we're excited as we start off this month of May. You got some new music dropping.
absolutely, absolutely. So, can you tell us a little bit more about some of the people who are featured on the album?
Yeah, so again, you've got Olivia Mack, who helps lead in praise and worship. You've got Mike Dixon, Tatiana Barnett, who's on there, and again, Chad Brawley, and a couple of other special guests that you'll see on there as well, who are helping us in this effort. Dietrich Listenby, we've got on who's our MD here at the Luke Church. Ryan Mateer plays the drums. JJ is our bass guitarist. We've got some incredible gifts that are part of our music department that help to lead this. But again, you're going to hear also some kind of exciting guests that'll be a part of this project as well.
Again, I was honored to hear some snippets and a little bit of the album myself. And what I really enjoyed the most about it was like a mixture of traditional and contemporary as well. How did y'all all go about finding that balance between the two?
I have, a traditional background. People oftentimes they'll see me and they'll think traditional. I do. I love the traditional imagery of the Black church. We say that in what we do. We take the best of the traditional, the best, not all of it, and we connect it to the contemporary. So I love anthems and hymns and spirituals. Shout out to the PB Gospel Choir. And I love those type of things, but I also can do CCM. I can do contemporary gospel. So, I'm able to kind of go either way, and that's who our church is. And so people who are in our church generationally that love, the sound of the traditional Black church, love the Luke experience because they know that even if we do something contemporary, I know at some point you're coming for me with something that's traditional, that sounds familiar to me. And so at some point, those who today call themselves contemporary will at some point end up on the traditional side of that bridge. And you'll find yourself saying, we've always got to be aware that there are different ears that are a part of our experiences. They're different generations. So that's what the music does. It tries to strike a balance and even marry the two. You'll hear in many of the songs. We'll take some hymns, some familiar songs, and we'll add some sort of a new school, new gospel flavor to it, you know. So yeah, we try to give something for everybody.
Bridges is coming out May 3rd. And again, talking to Dr. Timothy Sloan, the senior pastor of the Luke Church. I want to definitely tell you thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for telling us about this album. And for the students who may be excited, but also nervous about life after college, what's one piece of advice you would give to them as they transition from campus to career?
Yeah, that I would tell them, be patient with yourself. If I could go back to the younger me and give myself a piece of advice, I'd say be patient with the process, because oftentimes in today's really, heavily saturated social media culture, you can speed up the clock when really it has nothing to do with the timeline God has for you. So don't compare yourself against others, your classmates. Live your own particular purpose out, and however it unfolds, enjoy the journey, enjoy the beauty of it, because it is a beautiful journey specifically tied to you. So be patient with yourself and the process, and
Thank
keep
you.
winning.
Keep winning. And speaking of
Keep
winning,
winning.
where can we get the music? Where is the music going to be so that we can get it and listen to it?
Well, you can go to Apple, iTunes, Spotify, whatever platform you get your music from. You can go and you can pre-save it right now. And even if you wanted just to get, if you still you want some of the traditional hard copies, I know we don't have those a lot, but we've got some commemorative hard copies accessible at the
Okay.
church. If you want to go on our website, you can order one. But if I would go to Spotify, Apple's iTunes, whatever, wherever you get your music, download it today.
The album is entitled Bridges. The single is called Winning. The doctor is Dr. Timothy Sloan. He's the pastor of the Luke Church. And we want to say thank you so much for joining us on here on 91.3 KPVU. Bridges.
Go get it.